This is Lulu. Lulu, come here. Say hi to everyone. Lulu. Say hi to everyone, Lulu. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing The Invisible Man. And I just saw it yesterday, so I know it's been out for a couple weeks. I just haven't been able to get around to it. And I did want to talk about it, and I wanted to start off with the trailer, which it's just like one small thing in the trailer that I think they should have left out, which is the part where she throws paint onto the guy, onto the Invisible Man, and then you see like sort of, you don't see his face as like a human, more like a mask kind of thing. If you haven't seen the movie, sorry, but this is a spoiler, which is also, this is a part that really sort of like took me out of it for a little bit. And it's a part where you see the main character, Elizabeth, she's like on the floor crying, in a fetal position. And then this young girl comes in, which I don't remember her name, but she comes in and she's like, hey, I'm sorry about everything that you're going through, and you want to go have some cake or something, or you want to go, eat some food. And then, she gets her ass, bam, she gets hit in the face. And then the little girl, she starts saying that the lady who's 10 feet away from her, she said that she hit her, which I'm like, her arms aren't that long to slap you in the face. She was looking at her the entire time, and she's like bleeding from her nose, and then her dad rushes in, and then she's like, she hit me. But I'm like,
hand, reach me with that hand, reach me with that hand. You cannot.
That part, I was just like, how is she gonna hit you if she's 10 feet away from you? You know what I mean? That's just the small part right there that I was just like, because if it was me, someone was 10 feet away from me and I just get my ass kicked, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on around here? I'll be like, what the hell? I'll be freaked out. Like, I'll be like, did you just see that shit? Like, I just got my ass hit. I don't know where the hell it's coming from, So, yeah, I don't know. That's how I would have played it, but I'm not in the movie, so, and I didn't write it either, so I don't know. It starts off really great. She's like escaping this big ass like house, which looked fucking cool. I'm like, damn, I want a house like that shit. Okay, so she's like escaping, and then she hits over a food, like her dog's food bowl, and she can see him on the phone because there's a camera like facing the hallway, and she just turns it to look at the guy who her boyfriend or whatever, like sleeping. And once she kicks over the dog food tray, she makes like a really loud noise, but he's still asleep. So then, she's walking off, and right as she's like in the garage, like leaving, the dog comes out. This Doberman dog, he's just like looking at her like, are you gonna leave me here? And then I was just thinking, man, I could never leave my dog like that. I don't know what she was thinking. She was just like, that's not my dog, But he did. The dog had a bark collar on him. Like, I guess he had it like the entire time, like just inside of the house, outside of the house. It just had it on him. So maybe the dude was just like, he's a fucking psycho. So he was just like, maybe like click that button just to shock his dog, maybe like across the hall or some shit. I don't know, man. That dude was fucking crazy. He was just shock the dog for no reason. So imagine if he did that to the dog. Like, what did he do to her? Because also in the movie when they're saying he was talking to like, or she was talking to the sister and the sister's friend, and they're sitting on the table. And then they were like, oh, did he hit you? And she's like, or did he hit you? And he was like, yeah. And he did like other things too. So like, what did he do to her? Like, he must have, I don't know, like strung her upside down, hit or some shit. I don't know, some like torture device, like medieval torture shit. Man, this dude was. The movie made him seem like he was just insane, but he was like one of those like people that were fucking crazy, but they're like kept their cool, you know, which he seemed like that kind of guy, because he was like this rich entrepreneur dude. But yeah, I'm just like, but there were some moments that I was like intrigued and entertained, which the first part, there was this one shot, you can hear that outside, right? I'm sorry. Well, there was this one part where you see her, she's like cooking food or cooking breakfast after they found out he died. And, you know, she goes in to wake up the girl for school because she's in she's in her sister's friend's house, and he's a policeman, so, you know, he's like there to protect her. And so she's cooking food, and the guy comes in, he's like, oh, you know, can you wake up my daughter, you know, for school? So she goes, and the stove is on, and the stove, like, it turns up even more, and then you see like flames like coming out, and then eventually like the food just like sets ablaze, and then, you know, they run back, they have to get the fire extinguisher and like to turn it off. So that was a really cool part that I really liked, and it was all like in one wide shot, so it was really interesting to watch. But there were also like parts where it would pan to like a hallway and it was empty, so I just assumed that the Invisible Man was there, which, since he's already invisible, I don't think they needed those shots in there. You know what I mean? They didn't really need like those long panning shots, which they could have just like cut those out. And then it goes into the part, another shocking part that I really liked, which is a major spoiler here. The next shocking part that really got to me was the lady Elizabeth. She goes back to the guy's house, who in the movie, like, everyone thinks he's dead, right? But she's like, no, he's like keeps fucking with me, and he's following me, and he's watching me, and nobody believes her. So she goes back to the house, and then she finds like this black suit with a bunch of like little cameras everywhere, which looks pretty cool. But it also kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen it, like the first American Horror Story. He wears like this black rubber kind of thing, you know, it's sort of like the sex rubber suit or whatever. I don't know. But it kind of reminded me of that. But this one's just like more high tech. You know, he turns himself invisible and all that cool shit, which it would be a great costume to have, which I do want that costume for Halloween. Turn myself invisible, snatch all the kids' candies and all that shit. So, yeah, she goes back to the house. She finds a suit, and she goes to this restaurant, this public restaurant with her sister, because, you know, they were like, the sister was mad at her because she said that she sent her an email, which, of course, it wasn't her. It was the Invisible Man who was like fucking with her. And so the sister's mad, and she's like, well, what the fuck, like, why'd you bring me here? And she's like, well, I can prove to you that this dude is fucking not dead, and he's invisible, and he's gonna try to, like, you know, he's just fucking me over with everything. And then you see the knife, like, hanging, like, right here, and it just, like, slits her throat. And then I was just like, oh, shit. This dude is fucking for real. So he slits the sister's throat, and then the girl, Elizabeth, she's just like shook. And she has a knife in her hand because the Invisible Man put the knife in her hand after he slit her throat. She was just like shook. You know, she was just like, what the fuck? And she started like shaking and shit. And then, you know, the police come, they take her to the mental hospital, which is like the second half of the movie. And the second half is suspenseful as hell. Like, it builds up to the ending, to the perfect ending for this movie. So the other reveal is that the brother is also the Invisible Man. So I'm guessing there's like 2 suits. So he has 3 different, the guy made 3 different suits so one for him, the other one for his brother, maybe the other one's for backup. You know, that one gets fucked up. They just, you know, make another one. They just have another one for backup. So anyways, at the end of the movie, she goes back to his house. She has a wire on her trying to get him to confess, right? At least that's what that's what we see, because you can see like in another shot you see the cop like listening to like the monitor, and she's trying to get him to confess. But then he was like, you know, he's really smart, so he says that he didn't like do all that stuff in the beginning of the movie that you see, like, you know, the girl getting hit and the what do you call it, oh, you also see him like taking pictures of her while she's asleep, which is like weird. But he does end up confessing to her, but only in the way that she would know, which is with the word, what do you call it? He said like surprise, or he's like, it wouldn't be a surprise that I would know that, or something like that. And she knows in her head that he did it, and that's his way of confessing. Which in the movie you see, when she's in the attic, you see a text message on a phone which is up in the attic, and it says surprise. So you see that a couple times in the movie, and when he says it in the end, you know it's him, you know. And so she's like crying and shit, and she goes back into the room, and she comes out, and she slices his throat with the kitchen knife, you know. Or it was a big ass fucking knife. So, but she's invisible. She had like the invisible suit on. But in the camera in the house, you see him just like slicing his throat. Like, you don't see her because she has on the suit. She ended up killing him. She saved herself, and that's how it ends. So that's really the end of it, the end of the movie. Which I think the way I explained it is kind of just like jumbled, kind of like a little piece here, a little piece there. It doesn't really make sense until you watch the movie. So you have to watch the movie to understand what I'm saying, basically. But yeah, I'd say overall, I give the film an 8 out of 10. You know, I did think they gave a little too much in the trailer, which, you know, they do it for a lot of movies nowadays. But it was a good 8 out of 10 for sure. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.